Kick it.
It's candy. She's just so candy.
Welcome guys, this is Candy and I am here with another episode of The Candy Show, and I want to go straight into my interview. And I have right here this gentleman. I have known him for many years. His name is Aaron Jones, and I'm going to let him introduce himself. So first of all, let's say welcome.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I'm Aaron Jones.
What do you do, Aaron?
What do I do?
Because what did I say? How do I introduce you? And you said it well yourself, so tell everyone.
Well, I'll put it this way. I'm multi-talented. I stay in the lab. I stay, just creating, so I'm also a vocalist, I'm an actor, I'm an artist, just multi-talented, just trying to be able to apply myself in many different ways.
Okay. So we gotta give a little backstory. Gosh, how long have I met you? It's been at least 15 plus years.
Let's not do that.
It's been 15 plus years. I mean, hey. This gentleman, I actually saw him, if you guys are familiar, I saw you a few weeks ago at one of our local authors' musical.
Yes.
And it was Joseph Amos' Dark Times.
Yes.
You had a part in there, and let's go from there. So
Okay.
tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was Joseph's father, Rufus. I didn't do too much other than just look good and somebody sang to me. And then the other one, I was Brother Cornelius. I was the choir director that prayed for Joseph's wife, which is Sister Amos at the time, and I prayed for her. The way Angela figured that how she would, make it the role more interesting, instead of me praying like a preacher, she wanted me to sing the prayer.
Okay.
And it showed off, I guess, my vocals or whatnot. So that's how we did that.
Okay, and so we're here right now at Indianapolis Downtown Library, and we're here specifically because I also saw you again before that at one of our annual artist showcase. It's been around for what, 32, 35 years?
Right about that.
Meet the Artist, and tell us from there what your participation was on Meet the Artist.
Meet the Artist. I've been knowing Anthony Radford. First, I want to put him out there. Anthony Radford, awesome guy. He's the one that put the Meet the Artist together. He's a brother, and he works forward to bringing, the African American community together. He works with youth and things like that. And I met him years ago too, when I was a part of a group called Cafe Kaumba, and I played the drums, and it was like I guess you could say a cafe poetry reading that moved around in different venues. And one of his venues was Arts in the Garden, in his backyard at his studio. And that's when I first met him years ago. And it was also about, seeing African community coming together and making money, buying, different accessories like earrings, clothing. It was just a conglomerate of business being made along well as entertainment. And it took me to go to IUPUI and talk to the head directors of the art department. They said, you need to connect with our Anthony Radford. And man, he is so busy. It took 10 years for me to even get on this roster and be on. 10 years, yes. That was back in 2000 when she told me that. I called him, kept calling him, and finally I got on board. So here I am. But unfortunately, he's about to do other ventures, and he's going to pass the torch. I'm not sure who he's passing the torch to, but it's going to be somebody else next year.
So tell us, you had a few pieces. So now, since that was the first time I saw you, which was a month or so ago, how long have you been participating in Meet the Artist?
Meet the Artist was more of a thing where I would go to, let's just say, when you're looking for new ideas, you're looking for just kind of like, I was just coming in support with Meet the Artist, because it's a big thing, you have like, fashion designers, you have, photographers, you have, and this is all around Black History Month, so it's dealing with, our culture and African American, and you find out who's the latest, the latest genius in, what they're doing. So I just come just to support, and just so happens, I said, I'm gonna take it a step further and be an artist in the Meet the Artist.
Okay. And so was this again your first year?
This is my first year.
Okay.
This is my first year, but I have been participating in this just as an observer.
An observer. Okay.
Yeah, just an observer of art.
So now, how long have you been doing art? Now I know, I'm gonna just say this now. I know back
Yeah.
when the last time I actually seen you, you were branching off into that because you were singing, and then you started doing the painting and all of that good stuff. So tell us how you got into that.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, this is my philosophy about, art and music. It's like they're hand in glove. When you're singing, you're singing what you're visually seeing in your mind. Say it be a love song, you could sing it and make people feel a certain way. Sort of like the feeling is like the pain. If I could say that. But in when you visualize it, you actually, I don't know how to break that down. But as far as like painting the picture, you can make somebody feel something just by looking at it. But yet when you sing it, you can make somebody feel it by your vibration in your voice or whatever. So both of them, the two things are hand in glove, and I always wanted to put it together either where I'm doing music or in doing the art. And the only way that I say the end game, where I'm coming from, maybe I know what you're doing.
Okay. Well, you did say you were multi-talented.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you can sing.
Yeah.
You can definitely do some art. And a little later on, we're going to get a chance to check out your art and give us a little background on each one of your pieces. But when you said that they went hand in hand, so again, I'm going to go back there.
Okay.
We met 10 years ago, and you were in the studio. Was that your first?
No, I've been, I've been doing music and art all my life.
Okay.
It was just a matter of time. When I just say, as far as like the big commerce with music industry, it was just so much. It was confusion, a lot of confusion, like with contracts and the lawyers, and it was just really big. And even like the R. Kelly thing that's a big thing that's going on now. But it was a lot of perverts in the music industry that I was just scared to even deal with. To put my life in their hands. So I just backed up off of the scene, with the music. And if I did work with the music, I kind of worked with independent people that I knew personally, other than, trying to get a big deal, and then I have to go up under the umbrella of this, corporation, and then they make me all over again. And I was just like, I'm going to back up off of that. So I kind of went into my art mode from there.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to ask you. So was the transition,
Yeah.
was the transition to your art
Yes.
from the music, was it a little bit better?
Yes.
Was it just at the right time?
Well, my art is kind of like how people consider their diary. You see what I'm saying? I capture a moment or an emotion. Maybe it was a bad moment. So, you might look at my art and you're like, man, that makes me feel some type of way. You know what I mean? And then you might see another piece like, man, that's beautiful. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like different, I'm capturing different moments, I'm emotional sometimes. So I capture the emotion and paint my story like, a journey. Different series and different vibrations, different moods, different times, There was sometimes where I just didn't want to touch nothing at all. Just meditate and go deep within and then come up with something new. constantly recreating myself as a better person.
Okay, and that was again another something I was going to ask.
Yeah.
How do you gain your creativity?
Okay.
Do you ever get artist block?
Yes, most definitely. Most of the time when I get artist block, I have to go within. And going within is meditation. You know, I've studied many different religions. The one that have been practicing, I've been practicing Buddhism, you know, being present, concentrating on vibrations, and just being still, you know, and quieting my mind of all of the voices, you know, and from that point of peace, and from that point of joy, from that point of happiness, that's when I can draw within, and I can, you know, start over, constantly clean my slate, and start over and recreate.
So tell us about the pieces that we are going to see a little later on. Just, you know, what made you, how many pieces, first of all, do you have here at the Indianapolis Library?
Okay, I have 4 pieces, and the one, Sunflower, Phoenix, Butterfly, I was close with my mom, really close with my mom. She passed back in 2000, and she was my go-to person. I mean, it's emotional, but it's just, you know, that piece is like variations of many different women. I find women very beautiful, you know what I'm saying, considering they've gone through so much, you know, and then not only that, they gave birth to us, you know what I'm saying, so they're the ultimate creator,
Okay.
you know, and so in that piece, Sunflower, Phoenix, Butterfly, it says it all. You know, you got a sunflower, you know, it's just a beautiful flower. Some people call it ugly, but it's, you know, it has many different seeds. And it also has the Fibonacci sequence that is within it, which is a flow of nature. Then you got the phoenix, which is, you know, from the ashes, you know, the fire of destruction she comes out of. And then you have the butterfly going through the metamorphosis of life, you know, going through a really hard period of struggle, a cocoon, and then at the end of it, she's a butterfly.
Okay, and then tell us a little bit, just briefly, about the other.
No, the other one, the Silent Assassin, that's just, you know, that's just a part of me, you know what I'm saying? You know, I grew up, you know, a little rough, you know what I mean, but I evolved. I learned how to take, you know, that anger that I had, I learned how to wrestle, I learned how to play football, and I took it out in, you know, in defense where I learned discipline. You know, so in times where certain things might be chaotic and crazy, sometimes I feel like I can control the situation with my mind. So I feel like, you know, I'm somewhat of a silent assassin.
Okay. So tell us about the piece where it's the lady and she has a bare naked back.
Okay, with
Actually, that was my favorite.
Okay, yeah, that's It's what that is just the natural beauty of a woman, and she's looking into the future, basically. And you know, and it's like somewhat of a bleak, grayish blue, kind of a cold look. You know what I'm saying, that she's looking into. But be it that I say, you know, women are beautiful. You know, they could be beautiful and destroy. You know, and look good while they destroying, but. That piece particularly was just basically looking into the future, you know, even though it may look bleak or cold, you know what I'm saying, it's still beautiful, and it's still, you know, a movement into the future to where, you know, women can still, you know, evolve, you know, and lead, you know, and be it that the back is turned, you know what I'm saying, who got her back.
Nice,
You know
I like that metaphor. Okay, so how about the last piece?
The last piece, that is, I was going to do a series of that. It's kind of more of an imaginative character of a warrior, Shaka Zulu, samurai, and it's more a spiritual thing too. The story behind it was he was a warrior and he was like an alien. But when he comes down, right, he has this woman that comes out of his head and everybody's mesmerized by the woman dancing. And then while the enemy is watching her dance, that's when he cuts them off or cuts their heads off.
Oh, that's
Fierce.
Okay.
Fierce. He's not to be played with.
Wow.
You know, I don't have a name for him or anything like that, but I take that back. I do have a name for him. It's called Legba Lagoon, and that goes back into a lot of our, let's just say, African American culture. It goes into Latin American culture, a lot of dealing with the Orishas, and he's Legba Lagoon. And Legba, he's also a character to where he can be a trickster, he can be a joker, you know what I'm saying? But as the yin and yang go, it could be good or it could be bad, but you learn from it all.
Okay. So I'm gonna take it back. Take it back. Gotta take it back, y'all.
Okay.
It seems like you are in love with women.
Okay.
The reason why I say this is because I remember the one song that I kind of helped you with.
Did you? Oh my goodness.
Okay, so he don't remember. All right. Remember you're in the studio.
I got hit in the head.
Okay. You're so beautiful.
You're so beautiful.
You're
Yeah,
so
yes.
beautiful. Yeah. I just remember helping you at the very beginning, like I think the pop bottle sound or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Do you still have those songs?
I do. From that time period all the way to now, I've been, I mean, just transitioning in so many places. I've lived in so many places, but I still, yes, I do have copies of those particular songs.
So the reason why I said about the women, and I say that specifically because I go back to that song, You're So Beautiful, and then you have a few pieces here that are on exhibit that you definitely pay homage to women.
Yeah.
So this is why I said that it seems like you have a connection from music to your pieces, women. It isn't just me, but art is subjective. So I just see that there's definitely a connection.
Okay.
You know.
Well,
Tell me.
I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that. I didn't want it because, you know, I mean, I feel strongly about it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Sometimes people, you know, in different religions and things like that, they may disagree, but this is my philosophy about it. I believe particularly that the black woman is God. You know, if you trace back the DNA of every human being that came, you know, most of them came from a black woman. You know, all the variations of creeds and kinds. If you do the research, I mean, they've even done like studies to where like the oldest woman that's on the planet was like something like 1 million years old. You know, they found like the bones or whatnot, and she was the oldest lady that, you know, that was on the planet. You know, on this particular planet, some Aboriginal black woman. You see what I'm saying? So, in the sense of that, you know what I mean? I also think about where we came from. You know, we wouldn't even be on this planet if we didn't come through a woman first. Jesus Christ himself even came through the womb. You see what I'm saying? So, a woman, you know, but in I don't want to get into Christianity or striking out against Christianity or anything like that. But, you know what I'm saying? But they always strike out the woman. You know, I believe that the Holy Trinity is man, woman, and child. You know, that makes more sense to me. When man and a woman gets together, that's how we create and be fruitful. That's how we become human. That's the human experience. But the beautiful thing about it, we were created in a woman and we come out of a woman. So, you know, our first lessons in life of survival is a woman. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like she doesn't get her due. You know, at times, you know, I mean, we as men, we have our destructive side. We go out and chop trees, build village, you know what I'm saying? But the woman said, okay, that's enough. You know, don't cut no more trees. You know, don't kill no more animals. We got enough. You know what I'm saying? That's wisdom from a woman. So, you know, her role in life, in nature, is massive. You know, so and that's a big thing also coming up for the new election. You know, in 2020. You know what I'm saying? The perspective of a woman.
A lot of women now
are
having more of the guts and to get out there and start running.
And she has to be supported as well, you know what I'm saying, by, you know, the counterpart, you know what I'm saying? Because it may get rough, you know what I mean? Where a woman voices her opinion, some people may not believe in it, you know what I'm saying? So she has to have protection too to be able to have that platform and be protected, other than have all of this voice and then somebody assassinate her and kill her voice and kill her movement and all of that. My thing is, I believe in it. I believe in it. It's probably the most powerful thing that's on earth. It's probably going to save, though. The world is just a perspective of a woman, nurturing, loving, no warring, people warring against one another, put that down. I feel like even, with war, it's been a pissing contest. Even a nuclear bomb is in the shape of a penis.
Oh, wow. Okay.
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 That's
That's another subject. Tell us now, how long is your display? Your art going to be displayed?
Well, it's going to be displayed down here, I think, till March the 30th.
Okay.
Here at the Central Library. And I got some new stuff, but like some stuff the stuff that you're seeing, it's dated, but I do have some other stuff, some sequences or some chronicles to the pieces that you're displaying right now.
So do you have any current showings? What's coming up in the future?
No, I don't have any current showings, but I'm gonna work with what I got right now.
Okay.
The upcoming show, Poncho, he's one of the lead coordinators of Blackberry Jam. He's been around here for a while. Brother is a brilliant brother, and also his brother, Solar, which is his older brother. I've been knowing them back in the day. I don't know if y'all familiar with God Bodies or anything like that, but they used to create ciphers, and they was doing a lot of things back in the day. And I think with Solar, he was like a BMX genius. He could do all of them tricks and whatnot, and his brother was talented enough to play music, and so he's kind of like a house band or a band that just features different artists. And I've been wanting to work with this brother for years, and he just hit me up, like you were saying, on social media. He seen me, like, he's kind of a funny brother too, so he's like, brother, do you sing anymore? And he called LOL. He was like, man, don't ignore that, I know you're singing, but, can you hook up? So I was like, I called him, and he was doing, doing a tribute to John Legend and India. And I'm the male part of it. I'm gonna be doing some John Legend songs, and the females are gonna be doing the India songs. So.
Okay, so you said that you're going to be performing here soon. So
Yes.
tell us when.
Okay, it's gonna be on March the 13th, which is gonna be this Wednesday coming up at the Jazz Kitchen, and it's a tribute to John Legend and India. You want to say that?
India. Yari.
India, Ari. And
How you gonna not know her last name?
Because
I know you say you pronounce it differently.
Maybe it's my accent.
Say it again.
I'm not gonna
No,
say it.
Okay. That's just my humor. But okay, so the Jazz Kitchen this Wednesday,
Yes.
13.
Yes. It's gonna be a wonderful show.
What time?
It starts up at 5:30. We start performing around 7:30, all the way to 10:30 at night.
So tell me what the future holds for Aaron Jones.
What the future holds for Aaron Jones is, to be honest with you, is, my vision is bigger than me. My thing is, I just have to write a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, I know what my purpose is. I know it's somewhere in the arts, it's somewhere in the music, but it has something first and foremost have to do with knowledge of self, understanding who you are, finding out, if you have to do DNA or whatever it is, understand who you are and where your power is, and if you're like 47 like me, I'm also 47 years old. If you're like me, I start realizing that, the clock is ticking, so I have to start building manuscripts, putting blueprints down, for the youth, and I got a lot of work ahead, so I'm gonna be in the lab, basically trying to create blueprints for the future.
When you're a creative person in itself, you never stop.
Exactly.
No matter how old you get.
Exactly.
So tell us how we can reach out to you for any booking, social media, email, website. What do you got? Tell them.
Okay, for right now, my email, it's a long word. It's two different deities, Heru and Tahuti, which is HERUDJEHUTI08@gmail.com. And you can reach me there. I also have work here. So we're dealing with on the level of artistry, visual arts. So if you want to see the art, you know, me to work or maybe do a book cover, because I have a friend that at this point we worked out a contract with me doing a book cover for him and drawing something and painting it, and he's going to put it on his book cover. So if you want to come here and check out the art, come to the Central Library downtown, and you could look at those pieces. My name's on the pieces. So there are also other artists here as well. You know, if you want, you know, to have them work for you as well. So. Yeah, and
But you gotta come down before the 30th, right?
Before the 30th.
Before March 30th.
yes. So on the art tip, you know, you have that email for that. In the future, I'm going to be doing more of music, a collaboration of. I'm going to do a yoga album. That's what's, you know, coming up.
Okay.
It's like, you know, got some, you know, some African drumming, maybe some water and calming elements in the song. And I'm doing some chants of and things like that on a beautiful harmonic level. You're gonna love it.
So I want to thank you, Aaron Jones,
Thank you.
for being on the Candy Show today and giving us a tour of your artwork. And guys, please make sure that you stay tuned and you'll see some of Aaron Jones' work. Thank you.
But most of all, I said most of all, I want to thank you, my audience. Come on back. I said come on back. Come on back.
Kick it. It's candy, candy. She's just so candy.